It's been a tough couple of years. Vacant classrooms, lonely hallways, and empty streets. This downturn has also led to many losing their jobs, and the unemployment rate rocketing to as high as 8.9% last September 2021. Now more than ever, our future engineers need all the help they can get. And so we rise to the challenge. We take every small step in every possible way to help, to rebuild, to shape. And as the world starts to open to this new normal, we look back at past victories and move forward to better days. We are here. With UP CAPES, it's time to build your base.
Accenture, the home of many technologies, gives you the chance to grow and advance in an innovative environment, where experiences are endless and learning is limitless. Through Accenture student programs, get a feel for Accenture's boundaryless learning career opportunities. Wide range of capabilities and technology from A to Z. Be knowledgeable. Stay ahead in the tech industry with the latest and greatest with Accenture Technology Academy. Be skilled. Learn from industry experts, market leaders, and innovators with Student Leadership Conference. Be involved. Develop inclusive, responsible, and sustainable solutions to complex business and societal challenges with Accenture's Program the Future. Be proficient. Learn the latest tech practices and tools from industry experts and tech leaders with Campus Tech Explorer and become future innovators. Be a tech expert. Harness your capabilities by creating solutions to different business and societal problems using the latest tech innovations at Accenture Internship Program. With Accenture student programs, be part of a culture that provides you with every opportunity possible. With deep industry expertise, Accenture molds our future tech leaders and innovators. Get started on your tech adventure today.
It made me feel comfortable knowing that the place I was joining was somewhere where I could continue to learn, grow, and question.
Whether you start in technology, operations, strategy and consulting, or interactive, you can continuously learn and grow your skills to follow your purpose.
Everyone is willing to share their knowledge, share their expertise to help you grow, which I feel like is quite unique about Accenture.
Every day, all over the world, our people are delivering on the promise of human ingenuity combined with technology to solve some of the world's biggest challenges.
I'm in project dealing with air cargo, tracing production of carbon dioxide.
So I was using geospatial data to help the smallholder farmers in East Africa.
I was working for this children's charity and we delivered a manifesto for a new humanitarian fund.
I'm working on a project where we are implementing patient-first solutions to improve healthcare in Singapore.
I'm contributing to the UK reach its goal of net zero by 2050. And for me, that's a really strong driving force in my day job.
We're all about giving our people boundaryless career opportunities.
Cool thing that Accenture really promotes is building your career like however you want it to be.
You can essentially learn anything, I think, in Accenture.
We're more than 640,000 unique people innovating together. And we know the best ideas happen when everyone is included and all voices are heard.
I realized that culture is probably one of the biggest things for me.
I'm really glad that I'm a part of this big Accenture family.
Now is your time to make real, lasting, impactful change in your life and in the lives of others. Come and join us and match your career with your passions.
Okay, before we officially start, we would like to encourage everyone to take part in our CAPES Week 2022 social media challenges and virtual exhibit quiz to win some exciting prizes. Now, moving on to our house rules. Kindly turn off your video and put yourself on mute upon entry. For any technical concerns, kindly send a private message to UP CAPES Operations on Zoom. And for any questions, please go to menti.com and use the code 3475. The questions will be moderated by Gozi. Since we have now run through the house rules, let us now proceed with our event. Okay, happy Friday, everyone. I am Jessica Lazap from the UP Career Assistance Program for Engineering Students, and we would like to formally welcome everyone to the CAPES Week 2022 Scope Presenter Talk featuring Accenture PLC. In this talk, Accenture will be giving us an overview of their partnership with UP CAPES, wherein they help provide career opportunities and give invaluable insights throughout the academic year. We hope you take this time to learn from our esteemed speakers and take this opportunity to ask questions. If you have any questions or concerns, once again, you can send this in through our Menti using the code 3475-2977 or through the comment section of the Facebook Live. We'll be having our Q&A after both talks. And of course, for this event, we will be giving away 250 pesos to 2 lucky winners through GCash. In order to win, you must, number 1, have answered the RSVP form. Number 2, be present before the end of the 10-minute grace period. And
Recording in progress.
Be present at the end of the event. But don't worry, because just by answering the RSVP form and attending this talk, you're also entitled to 1 raffle entry for our grand raffle. Also, our social media challenges are still open, so go ahead and join the Facebook logo hunt, Instagram story challenges, and the exhibit quiz for more raffle entries. Finally, don't forget to visit our virtual exhibit through the link and the QR code flashed on the screen to know more about what UP CAPES and our co-presenter Accenture has in store for you. Answer the quiz at the end of the exhibit and share these to your IG stories to once again gain an additional entry to our grand raffle. Daming opportunities, guys. Grab nyo na to. So these challenges end tonight, October 14, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. Don't miss your chance to win amazing prizes. Oh my gosh. Headphones, Aqua Plus, iPad. Okay. So gain points as well for your CAPES Smiles. So now that we have that out of the way, let's introduce our first speaker for today. Our first speaker, Mr. Carlo Aquino, has been with Accenture for over 20 years, starting off as a mainframe developer. All his clients are with the financial services industry, and he has been assigned in the US, Switzerland, and Hong Kong. He is providing oversight to close to 500 full-time employees working on different technologies such as Java, mainframe, React.js, and mobile development. Now, let us give a warm round of applause to Mr. Aquino.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. Am I coming in loud and clear?
Yes, po.
Yeah, so thank you for inviting me to CAPES. Like you, or maybe not yet, because I'm an alumnus and I'm sure you're graduating soon. But unlike you, I took up economics in college. I graduated from UP in the late 90s. So maybe before I start giving a background of Accenture, maybe a short introduction for myself about myself. So I'm a managing director in Accenture. Actually, I just celebrated my 21st year with Accenture a week ago. So when I started off, I didn't realize I'd hit 20 years. So it's been a ride, and it's been a good ride. I wouldn't have lasted this long, right? When I started with Accenture, when I graduated from college, rather, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. All I wanted was that my career wasn't something where I would stagnate, because I feel that stagnation is career cancer. So I ended up with Accenture. So from economics, naging IT. My first client in Accenture in 2001. Accenture is my second job, actually. My first one was also in IT, but with a local bank. I was assigned with a U.S. financial services firm that's based in the U.S. Stayed there for 13 years. Started off as a developer and pretty much worked my way up to a delivery lead. Then in early 2015, I moved to a Swiss-based company. It's still financial services. Pretty much stayed with the same company or with the same client up until now, although may konting switch, because in 2015 up to 2018, I was managing the Swiss part of their business. I was also based in Switzerland for close to 4 years. Late 2018, I went back. Then my bosses asked me to manage the APAC, the Hong Kong and Singapore part of the Swiss bank. So this was prior to the pandemic, but I was based in Hong Kong, and I experienced the protests and the pandemic in Hong Kong. I was there the whole time. So prior to the pandemic, I was commuting to Singapore once or twice a month. Hong Kong was my base. Then every other week, I'd fly back to Manila because I didn't have my family with me. So parang ano lang talaga siya. Stop over yung Hong Kong. But when the pandemic hit, I mean, I had to stay in Hong Kong full time. And I was there during the protests and the pandemic. So I tell people, if I survive those two, I think I could pretty much survive anything. Maybe after giving you a short introduction about myself. So I guess, I mean, you've seen the short video about Accenture. Accenture in the Philippines actually started in 1985. It was then known as Andersen Consulting, and it was also mentioned that we have 4 areas: strategy and consulting, tech, operations, and interactive, which is now known as SONG. I'm in the technology space for all of those 21 years. It's been, I guess, Accenture is, you could say, is an equal opportunity employer. More than 50% of our resources are female, and I know that at least 25% of our resources are either members of LGBT or allies. So when I say that we are an equal opportunity employer, as long as you're willing to do the work, as long as you're producing, it really doesn't matter what your gender, orientation, religion is. I mean, we welcome everyone with open arms. Now, I guess what you'd like to know, what made me stay, or what's the catch, or what's a good reason to go with Accenture. As we have experienced in the past 2 years, Accenture, I believe, is not only the career that we offer is not just future proof, it's also pandemic proof. During the pandemic, we actually grew. Because if you think about it, nagkaroon siya ng shift, right? Yung behavior ng tao, mostly from yung commerce, mostly with brick and mortars, and now gusto nila virtual na. And with that, with those change, you obviously have to prepare for that. So whether it's security, data AI, and we're also dabbling into metaverse, Accenture can definitely give you the career. Apart from that, feel that Accenture, we always say that this is a career, but at the same time, you also have to take care of yourself, right? We believe that what we offer is very, very much market competitive. But apart from that, it's the opportunity to be in charge of your career and to further your career with onshore opportunities. I think in aggregate, I've in my 21 years, almost 2 years of that is in the States. Then in the last 7 years, 6 years of that, I wasn't really in Manila. So I was in Switzerland for close to 4 years. And up until last year, for a couple of years, I was in Hong Kong. So there's really a lot of benefits. There are a lot of things that will go for you when you go to Accenture. And right now, on my 21st year, and as you've seen in the video, I'm still learning a lot of things. When I started out with Accenture, I was a mainframe developer. And what everyone was most worried about during that time was the millennium bug, yung Y2K. So we were working on that. And now, in my area, when we started 7 years ago, mostly in FS, it's also mainframe. Now we're looking at mobile. We have iOS programmers. We have Android developers. We have Java. We have React. We have Angular. We're also dabbling into Scala. So different kinds of technologies. So one thing I can promise you in Accenture is that no 2 days are the same. You'll never get bored in Accenture. And I really hope to see you soon in the firm. Thank you. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Mr. Aquino, for giving us an overview of all that Accenture has to offer. Personally, I think the fact that you were able to stay in Accenture for over 20 years already says a lot about how Accenture values their people and different opportunities for growth.
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of us who have, you could say that, who are old timers, been with the firm for more than a decade. But yeah, what I can promise you is that, it's your career will not stagnate in Accenture. Even on my 21st year, I can say darating pa lang tayo sa exciting na part. Even now. And hopefully everyone, as I mentioned, right, Jessica, I hope I get to see you in Accenture. Yeah. Sana lang wala masyadong na-disappoint nung nakita nila yung invite Carlo Aquino. Then they joined the meeting and they saw a different Carlo Aquino. So
I don't think naman na-disappoint ko. Super dami ng insights. Parang as an economics graduate, parang ang dami niyo pong napagdaanan sa Accenture. And I think these are the stuff na our engineering students value as well.
Yeah.
So to our participants, feel free to send in your questions through the Menti code sent in the chat or through the QR code flashed on the screen. Thank you, Mr. Aquino.
Yeah. I'll be here until the end of the meeting. I'll just turn off my video if you have any question, just let me know, or at least in the Menti that Jessica mentioned.
We'll having the Q&A after the second part. Thank you, Mr. Aquino. So let's now move on to the second part of the talk. Our second speaker, Ms. Andrea Dioso, is a graduate of BS Computer Science, an alumna of UP Cursor, and the former Vice President for Service of the UP Center for Innovations, or UPCSI, in 2019. She is a front-end web developer turned Salesforce builder upon entering Accenture last 2021, and she is currently under the Accenture Innovations Leader Program as a management trainee, honing her skills to solve business solutions using relevant technologies today. Without further ado, let us welcome our second speaker, Ms. Dioso.
Hello, hi guys. Okay, you guys can hear me as well. Am I audible? Okay. So hello engineering, hello UP Capes, and hello world. It's actually great to be back virtually talking to you guys here. So just a little bit of a gist with my talk. So I'm gonna be showing you a bit of a day in the life and what it's like to be a software engineer so far in Accenture. And spoiler alert, I'm going to be telling you a lot of diverse things right now that I can connect to Sir Carlos' talk actually. So there. So a little bit of introduction about me. As you've heard from the introduction from the UP Capes team, there I graduated computer science just last year in July. Outside of work, I like film photography. I like K-pop and traveling. When I joined Accenture last year, I was an application development analyst. And then actually last September, I was already promoted to senior analyst. So that was already under a year. So I'm 23 years old. I was born and raised in Laguna. So just a bit of a more tidbits about me in the next slide. There. So there, I was from UP Cursor and I was from UPCSI. So I think if you're in the Facebook Live right now, maybe you can like interact with the chat. Go chat what your Eng org is, because you know I just want to hype up Eng Week again because it's the thing that people really miss the most here. You know. Okay, so there. I also firmly believe that anyone can break into tech, and Accenture is one of the best companies to do that. I'll just give you a bit of a timeline of my journey in Accenture, also about the pre-Accenture part, because I think it's important and made me realize a lot of things prior to joining Accenture. So let's move on to the timeline part of this. So back in 2019, a bit of story time. I did apply for the internship, but I wasn't able to make it. I submitted my CV, but then eventually I got an email back that they couldn't, consider me for this time. And then what I just said, okay, but will I be considered for future roles? And then they said, okay, we'll do that. So I didn't let that sort of falter my spirit. And fast forward to 2020, actually, I tried to also apply for SLC, which is the Student Leadership Conference. But I think when the pandemic hit, everything was just kind of paused. So I didn't really push through with it as well. So now that I've adjusted with the pandemic and I've also sort of taken a bit of startup roles, taken a bit of some very small jobs in coding and computer science, stuff like that. I felt like I was sort of ready after grad to finally take on a bunch of real roles in software. So one day I just got a call from a recruiter actually saying that, hello, we saw your profile. We'd like an updated CV. And we are considering you for this program called AILP, which is the Accenture Innovation Leaders Program, which is a 3-year management trainee program that aims to form fresh grad leaders in 3 years. So, that's something as well for our fresh graduates or those that are graduating this year. So there, that kind of gave me a signal. That call from that recruiter kind of gave me a signal na I guess it's good that I got paused a bit for the internship. I got paused for the student leadership conference. I guess those were signals that I wasn't ready yet. But I eventually got this better opportunity to work in Accenture and to be trained by leaders actually within Accenture. So there, October of last year, I got accepted into AALP after a kind of I would say the process is very fun if you really want to apply for that kind of program. Accenture has a lot of programs. And then eventually in November 2021, I was put into a dev bootcamp, which is something that most trainees and new hires go through when they start in Accenture, especially in the tech roles. So there, 6 months later, I got regularized. I had a bit of project experience, project loan experience. I was put in a bunch of projects and stuff like that, and they saw that I was fit to be a regular there. And then 5 months later, they saw my initiative in being proactive with their initiatives in Accenture. So I think it's a lot more familiar with org work actually. So stuff like that within Accenture, they knew I was active, and then eventually they saw me fit for the senior analyst role. So just last month, I got promoted to senior analyst. So it's, for me, it's a very roller coaster ride already. Even at pre-Accenture, it was already eventful in a way. So there. Okay. And then in the next section, I will just actually give you some tidbits about what it's like to work here. You know, we apply for jobs and we see the salary, the contract, and stuff like that. But you know, we need to also consider what the day in the life looks like. And if you want to ask me, like what Sir Carlo said, it's never two days are never the same as well. So I'm answering a bunch of actually questions that were sent to me by the Accenture team that are commonly questions by the fresh grads or usually in a career talk. So I'll be answering those actually. So there. So, and you can ask me about them later during the Q&A. So, okay. So the first question actually is, what's your workday routine? So whether actually virtual or on-site, I have 3 things that are necessary for me to do to gain that momentum to be productive. I could consider that as my routine. So those 3 things. And then the rest, actually, it could be a day full of calls. It could be a day full of working on-site. It could be a day just me building software, building code, or addressing bugs there. So it's all really different, or it could be a mix of the 3 actually. So I could, you know, to start my day right, I have to do these 3 things. So there. The next question is actually, what does your daily workload look like? So currently I'm working under the Salesforce capability team. So under the capability team, we actually wear a lot of hats. So I could one day be building a proof of concept for a client initiative. Let's say, hey, this client wants to see an e-commerce integration of this and that. Do you think this can be done? Or this appointment booking system, do you think this is a feasible idea? Stuff like that. I could be building, and then I could be also teaching, which is something that I never actually thought to do for a living, because you know, my reasoning actually for taking up teaching roles here or educating roles here in Salesforce, in the Salesforce capability team or under Accenture, is that in tech you are learning a lot of things at a very fast pace, and the best way to learn them is to teach them to someone. And if that person can get it in a simple language, that means you've taught them well and you understood the subject well. So there, we wear a lot of hats, and that's what my daily workload looks like. So we actually teach right now the bootcamp training for new hires. So I joined Accenture, I participated in the bootcamp, and I am also teaching in the same boot camp a couple months later. So the goal of those boot camps are actually the goal of those trainings are actually for sort of like preparing you for software projects. Kasi you are going to be facing a real life client software project. So these could be international clients, these could be local clients, but at the end of the day, as much as possible, we want our work to be in tip-top shape, and we want the resources. Resources is kind of our word for our our employees, our team will be in tip-top shape to perform well in those projects. So it's not really like a coding bootcamp. It's more of like what's practical to do, stuff like that. So those are like sort of like the nerdy stuff that goes on in those bootcamps. But yeah, it goes for it's very different for each technology. So there. So actually, to relate to our engineering students audience there, I'm certain you guys are involved in orgs, and also Accenture actually offers a lot of initiatives on top of your main priorities in tech. And to be honest, it can contribute to your holistic improvement. And those are only 2 kinds of days, and I have actually more than 2 kinds of days here. There could be a rare day that you are a rare, but it's not super rare, but if you want to, you can volunteer for initiatives that schedule events. Actually, if you want to host some campus stuff as well, that's part of it. So I'm certain you guys are very prepared for the work here, especially those that are very active in orgs. But of course, please don't, wag pabayaan ang pag-aaral ninyo for that. So yeah, but those are very much contributing to your holistic improvement. So there. So next question, actually, what do you do outside of work? So actually, because of the remote work and during the pandemic, this is something that has been important and has been emphasized. Actually, even within Accenture, this is being talked about. Being able to care for yourself and care for your mental health is also a conversation within Accenture. And I think the big lesson here is to be, when the work gets hard or when the work gets stressful, you have to be able to learn how to cope and sort of have your time outside of work that takes you out of that mindset, just to refresh it, so that you can work better. So there. So for me, I like to surround myself with nature, and I try to go outside, and it also helps with sort of like clearing your mind. And then cooking is also the nearest thing that I can sort of do that is near to tech. So you do a lot of steps in programming. Cooking also has a lot of steps, and that's kind of near to that. And I also listen to K-pop, and I'm trying to go to concerts more, but that's not there. Let's not go deeper into that. Anyways, also my message here for doing stuff outside of work, actually, I want to share a story about when I started out in Accenture. Actually, I was being interviewed by my then manager now, and I asked him also. He's around, I think, nearly 10 years in Accenture, and we were having actually a one-on-one chat, and he did say, I asked him, what made you stay for so long? So apart from the tech being being always fast-paced and innovative, he did tell me verbatim, he said, make sure you have a life outside of this. And then that struck me and stayed with me, because the work hours can be so long, even though, even though the work is fun, even though you have to do good work, but make sure you still have a life outside of this. That's like such a big lesson from him. That's kind of my messaging also for this question. So the next one is, what are the things that you do to improve yourself, actually, whether it's to be better at the job or as a person. So in Accenture, actually, we value having a growth mindset, and it doesn't just mean being better at your craft. It's always about improving your whole self. And these three help my mind and body become aligned. So they're journaling for the mind, exercise for the body, and practice that's a learning platform that we have, which is the Trailhead platform, which is a micro online course that everyone can do. And it's also a reference for me and my seniors. If the tech is changing, that's our reference, and that's how we learn, and also keep ourselves up to date. So I guess not sure if we still have a bit of time, but I want to skip over to the last and most important question, actually. Actually, I want to highlight this one. So, and connect it to the last question. So what do you like most about your work? So there are three things that I look for in a job: something that is learner-centric, innovative, and people-centric. There's a number 4, actually, inclusive and diverse. But in being learner-centric, we have a lot of initiatives in training, not just on the technical skills, but also on soft skills, in public speaking, design thinking, innovative. I like having an innovative working environment, and that's also open to fresh ideas on how we do work. Accenture, for the last one, people-centric, Accenture was actually able to listen to the preferences of many employees here. And career-wise, they also value what you want out of your career and how you grow. So with what Sir Carlo said, you are the one that will take charge of your career. So so I can skip over to the last slide, maybe. Maybe we can answer that later in the Q&A. So there. So just to wrap up, these are more pictures of actually what my experience has been like. So we have a hybrid setup, building software, we do product pitches, we also organize events. On the lower right, actually, those are some of my co-AILP participants, and so on and so forth. And with that, honestly, with my daily life and what my journey was like with Accenture, I hope that with my experiences, you were able to have a lot of takeaways, and hopefully you can have your own experience on why Accenture is the best place to work. So there, I hope you are able to sort of have some takeaways with that. So there. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that presentation, Ms. Andrea. So Accenture, learner-centric, innovative, people-centric, and diverse. Tapos, if I remember correctly, like this month, I think we're celebrating your first anniversary with Accenture. Kasi
yeah, it's my first year. Yeah.
So yun nga, from being a mentee, tapos 1 year into the role, you're now the mentor. I feel like you've grown a lot talaga with Accenture. Tapos, kung sa manager mo mismo nanggaling yung make sure you have a life out of this, really says a lot about Accenture. So, ayun, yung make sure you have a life out of this, doesn't only like apply with doing jobs. So, nag-apply din siya sa atin as engineering students. So, I hope you all have a life of Scholars ng bayan. So,
UP Capes, baka BS Org ang buhay. Joke lang.
So we will now be having our Q&A session. If you have any questions, please feel free to add them via the Menti code in the chat. Okay, so Mr. Carlo Aquino, are you here? I think the first question can be answered by both naman po.
Yes,
So
I'm here.
for the first question, with the fast-paced growth in the tech industry, how does Accenture plan to stay on top?
Well, I mean, right, by getting the great people from UP Capes, right? So actually, what we've done is before the pandemic, right? I think the whole world was a little bit caught off guard because when the pandemic started, we started talking about the recession, that spending might go lower, the business might be slower, but actually the contrary happened. So what we did was actually a two-pronged approach. We get good people to help us out. We get juniors, we get seniors, at different areas of the pyramid. Then we get the Carlas, which are the good juniors. But at the same time, we infuse the new projects with existing resources who have been with Accenture or who has experience at least delivering software. So it's you could say it's part of that is osmosis as we get in new clients, right? So it's never just new people. It's always a mix of new blood plus I guess old blood, or at least seasoned people who have done delivery before. So that's pretty much a strategy that we're doing, and that's what we intend to do in the next few years, because we would still need help from everyone, because we see that the industry is still going to expand and go into other areas that's quite new, particularly the metaverse, data analytics, AI, process engineering. Maybe you've heard of Celonis. So those are new areas. Those are exciting areas we would need help on.
Thank you for
I
that.
hope I answered the question, Jessica.
Yes, I think naman after this co-presenter talk, our engineering students will keep Accenture in mind in their future career planning.
I hope so.
Ms.
More
Andrea,
Carlas.
would you like to add?
Okay, I think I would like to add to that. I guess it's not just about the plan, but what Accenture has, the culture of Accenture, what it has been. Accenture loves to disrupt. Accenture loves to stay in the conversations in tech that are very new. Even in metaverse, they love to be part of it. And as an employee, I think for us to stay on top is to really carry on the innovative culture, is to have a lot of initiatives, a lot of conversations in trying out new tech, getting our hands dirty. Actually, I'm kind of part of the innovation team here, and we have a lot of weekly sessions for talking about our what ifs, like what if this tech could be used, what if this could be changed, stuff like that. We always love to be on the loop for those things that are new. So it's not just about the great people that we have here, it's also the great culture that we carry as well in Accenture.
Yeah. Our mantra right now is let there be change. So as Carla's mentioned, we're embracing that. We're embracing change. We're evolving continuously.
Interesting. So like working with Accenture really is like constantly working outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You will learn how to be uncomfortable.
Yung laging I'll be speaking Tagalog, okay? Laging sabi ng mga manager ko is, Accenture ka, dapat adaptable ka. Ganun.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So thanks for that. For the next question is for Sir Carlo. What would you say has been the hardest part about working in Accenture with a non-engineering background?
I guess because when I started in Accenture, I wasn't hired in Accenture straight out of college, right? I was I was in a local bank for 3 years. Pero what I noticed is it really has nothing to do with what your BS or what you took up in college. It's the willingness. It's, to be honest, it's really grit. I guess if you're willing to put up with being uncomfortable, I guess you should be fine. It's easy to have that bias that, oh my God, yung math ko hanggang 17 lang. Hindi ako nag-integral differential calculus, di ba? Ay, hindi pala 17, 100. Ito, Econ has a till math 100. So it's easy to dismiss na, nako, I won't be able to code. I won't be able to do those stuff. But if you break it down, coding is all about logic, right? And maybe for someone who has a science background, it would be more intuitive for him. But it doesn't mean that if you did not, if you came from a non-science background, that you won't be able to do it. It might take a little bit longer, but as long as you have the fire in your belly, you have grit, you should be fine. You'll be fine, I'm sure.
Okay. I think our students can take comfort in the fact na hindi ka naman iiwan na Accenture.
No. Carla has touched on that, right? She has mentors. You have the support system in your project. You'll be fine, because the success of Carla is the success of the team, because that's how Accenture operates, right? It's not that you'll be delivering and there's 3 layers of people reviewing. No, it's Carla who's directly talking to the clients, explaining her deliverables. Has an issue, I'm sure she's on the phone with them. So it's really pertinent for the rest of the team to make sure that everyone is successful.
Thank you for that. Okay, so for the next question, in quotes, I always thought that having a career in the tech industry or Accenture would be heavy in coding. How can you tell if you're interested in coding, etc., is enough to be in the tech industry or Accenture? Sure, Ms. Carla can start us off with this.
To be honest, you don't need to be a programmer to have a career in tech. Okay, actually, I sort of have prepared for this since it was part of my talk. So, we're engineering students, right? I think the recipe for having a career in tech, while, programming does give you a sort of edge, and it gives you a sort of problem-solving skill that non-programmers wouldn't normally have. You're engineering students, and the recipe there is to sort of combine what you're specializing in. Let's say you're IE, or let's say you're in ECE. Combine that, find a tech role that will match with that. Like, let's say IE, you guys know process optimization, right? You guys know, I'm trying to get more concepts here, but you can sort of couple that with project management. You can couple that with being a business analyst. You can couple that building software isn't just about coding. It's a whole team of people having conversations on how software should be built, and then they built it, and then they will test it, and they will deploy it. And not all of those people can code. It's usually the main developers that will code and will do the work. But in terms of building software, you don't need to code, actually. So there, I hope that answers that question. Is there a follow-up? Because there, yeah.
Accenture, nakikita yung intersection in between the different engineering fields. So, Mr. Carlo, would you like to add?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think Carla touched on that. We have business analysts. We also have process engineers in Accenture, making sure that they essentially go through each of the teams and check that your process optimized. It's efficient. There's no redundancies. I think that's partially IE, right? So it's not just coding, but admittedly a good part of the career that we have in Accenture has something to do with coding.
Okay, thank you po for that. So for our next question with regards to internships, how long do internships typically last for tech-related jobs in Accenture?
Carla, would you?
Oh, I'm not sure if our recruitment team is on the call. Yeah. Actually, I think they are more equipped to answer that. Anyone?
Anyone from the recruitment team?
Hello po. Yes po, good afternoon. Yes, I'm Din po from Campus Delivery Team.
Yep.
So regarding the internship program, it depends on the recruiter po how many months or ano po yung duration ng internship. So it depends po on the recruiter who will call you once na they receive your application po. So yun po siya. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you po. So take that into mind. So for the next question, does Accenture accept graduates from any engineering course? Are the job opportunities specific in hiring engineering courses? I think this has been medyo answered na kanina.
Yeah, no, it's not confined to any course, not even if it's not an engineering course. I have a colleague who's a civil engineer. I had a colleague. She's now in a different project, took up nursing. I have one's BA, so it's not confined to a particular school or course.
Just to give you guys an idea, lahat ng katrabaho ko galing sa engineering course. So ayun. So we build software, right? Some of my bosses they're from ECE. Something also as logical as mechanical eng. Others as far as even marketing. So there.
Okay, thank you po. So for the next question, what does Accenture value more, grades or extracurricular activities? Any of you could start.
For me, I mean, grades and extracurricular activities, I mean, it will get you in the door. But I mean, as soon as you're in Accenture, the way I see it, everyone's on equal footing, right? It's always the proof, the pudding is in the eating. I've had resources they said were so in college, but I think like a switch turned on or they came around and they're doing really well. It's really more of, I mean, college is different from high school. At the same time, working is different from college. It takes a whole, it's on a different level. So it's, you really need to have that, as I've mentioned earlier, grit, right? It's not because if it's just grades, it's I wouldn't say mechanical. I mean, pun not intended. But in Accenture, you'll be thrown into different scenarios. That it's possible that you do not exactly learn that in school and whatever. So you really need to be adaptable, as Carla has mentioned. I guess those who adapt quickly are the ones who are successful. So I'm not sure I answered that kasi parang it's grades, good grades, and a very robust co-curricular CV could definitely get you in. I don't think there's a bias to against each. Pero after that, what could get you successful? It's neither. Those are in the past.
Nice thing.
Okay. For me, it's kind of, it is a mix and it is mostly about attitude. I do have some coworkers who didn't really have orgs in college, but they do so well in the work. They're also good with their people skills, even though they didn't have high grades, but there are those that are good in org work and also really performed well. So it's not super either or, it's not 0-1, it's all about taking a learning experience from everything, using everything as a learning opportunity, really. That's how you get in, and that's the attitude you need to get in and stay there. So yeah, that's my answer to that.
Okay, thank you po. So next, I think we'll delve deeper into your life at Accenture talaga. So the question is, what kind of projects do you guys work on at Accenture? Siguro an overview for some, if possible.
Yeah, so I've always worked on application AOAM, application outsourcing, application maintenance. Essentially, the client hands us over their application, the whole system, and we take care of the enhancements, and that's the application outsourcing, and the issues, which is the application maintenance. Up to now, that's what I'm handling. I've also handled some system integration. So for application outsourcing, think of that as a marathon. For system integration, it usually the timeline is usually just for increments of 3 months, wherein you have to implement something in an existing system. It's usually a vendor product or whatever, but majority of my engagement is with application outsourcing. So those are the like, we'll give you our application for 3 years and all of the enhancements. So you take care of that. So I've functioned as a developer, designer, BA, project manager, delivery lead, and now portfolio lead, offshore / APAC lead of the whole engagement. So
That's a lot. That's a lot. So very interesting life at Accenture. Miss Carla, would you like to add?
So I work on their application development right now. So if I were to give you guys an idea, it's what I mentioned earlier. When we get a project, when we get a client, it's plan, build, test, and deploy. And we also follow the Scrum and Agile framework. And we build software a lot in my role. And we also, if you have the chance, we really take the chance to sort of build what we call sort of like business development builds. So we have the idea and the opportunity from the client, and we want to build it out and try out the requirements and see if they are a fit for our technology. So it could be different, really, but it revolves around those two types of ways of building software. So that's yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. For the next question, I think we'll be calling again for the recruitment team because it's about internships. So first question is, are Accenture's internship programs recommendable for young graduates looking to shift careers? And when will the internship applications open again?
And hello po. So, what's the first question po ulit? Sorry.
Are Accenture's internship programs recommendable for young graduates looking to shift careers?
Yes po. Everyone po has the opportunity po to shift careers. So it depends lang po doon sa team managers po natin once na they are deployed as a team, kung paano yung magiging transition nila if they want to shift careers na. And then, internship program is open naman po. I'll send here po the link if they want po to apply as intern. Isasend ko po dito sa chat po natin so they can access po and then submit their application.
Okay, so keep on the lookout. Internship link from Accenture. I think goodbye, Chet. Charot. Okay, so that's it. Next question for Miss Carla. How well did UP's CS curriculum prepare you for the industry?
Okay, so it's actually a mix of org work and academics. I'm not sure if there are any CS folks here, but the first years and the first year subject on logic and programming would help, as well as actually the third and fourth year, since those are where you explore specializations in CS. Also, with the help of UPCSI, I'm gonna plug it in. We actually the work is kind of almost the same, except you are not dealing with that big of a stakeholder, not that big of a team. There, I think it's maybe 3/4 of the curriculum prepared me for the industry. Also, the know-how as well as the exercise of building things is what prepared me for that. So there.
So, hindi lang parang yung curriculum po yung nag-prepare sa inyo, pero pati yung org work nyo nakatulong with adjusting to the industry work. So that's
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So, thank you for that. For our next question, is Accenture's management trainee program suitable for graduates with limited experience in coding? I think this has been answered, pero would you like to say more?
I think I could support that with saying, alam ko, sorry, I'll be saying Tagalog na. Alam ko hindi ata lahat CS yung co-AILP ko. I know some of them are from even other schools. They're not from Big Four. They're not from like management engineer or stuff, any fancy stuff like that. So to be a management trainee, you just really have to pass the process, really. Show them you have those characteristics that they are looking for. So there.
You have to show them na you're willing to be trained and willing to learn. Not by knowledge. Okay, thank you. Mr. Carlo, would you like to add?
No, nothing. Yeah, actually, you already parang emphasize the point. You're willing to be trained. You're willing to learn. So that's.
Actually, it's a management. They are training you for leadership roles in that program. So you have to show them that you can be a leader. So they're just to be specific to the program. There.
Thank you. For the next question, how does someone get promoted? How hard is it? Is there a tangible parameter? Is it output based? Do clients rate your service? Medyo malaman yung tanong. So,
Carla, would you like to start off?
Okay, I only got promoted once po. So, ayun. So
Mas fresh pa siya. So.
From my experience, it's really all about being clear with your targets and your readiness for the next level. So, have you met your targets? And attitude-wise, are you ready for the next level? Are you ready for the next battle, Tekken style, stuff like that? Like, in setting your targets, you can talk to your manager. Actually, this applies to any company. You have to be transparent with your lead or your manager or anyone that you can talk to about your role in that job. So schedule a one-on-one and be clear with your targets and also be clear with your intentions with your career. So, in Accenture, like Sir Carlos said earlier, it's about taking charge of your career. So what do you want out of your career? And communicate that with your manager. And how you can ask them that question. Actually, a direct question, how can I move to the next level? What will it take for me to be considered for the next promotion? Stuff like that. That's my answer to that.
And promotions in Accenture are taken really, really seriously. I mean, it's at least 2 or 3 discussions, right? Because it's not a decision that we take lightly. And siguro compare ko lang yung sa experience ko when I was working in a local company. Accenture is my second company. In a local company, at least when I was there, it was a bank. You wouldn't be promoted if your lead is still there. So I'm not sure when he will be out, right, at that time. But in Accenture, doesn't work that way. I mean, if you deserve to be promoted, if you are ready, we'll promote you. Then in case there's some constraints dun sa setup ng team, we'll identify a landing spot for you. But if the person is ready, independent, if the project would only accommodate this number of levels, no, Accenture will promote you.
Feel
So
ko
that's
kaya
the
niya yan.
yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference of Accenture with the other companies.
Okay, communication is key, really. So,
Yeah.
okay, so we're arriving to the last question for today, since I think we mentioned that Accenture is people-centric. So how does Accenture prevent burnout among its employees? How does Accenture takes care of the well-being of their employees? Are there regular team building activities, paid leave, etc.?
Yeah. We have that. We have those. At the same time, I think what's resonating a lot these days are the mental health. So Accenture is very, very supportive of that. We have hotlines if you need that you could contact anytime in case you need assistance. For my project specifically, at actually ATCP, I mean Accenture has also rolled this out. It's a program that called Moments That Matter, wherein you cater the touch points of your team when they're in the office. I guess that's one thing that we haven't highlighted as well. Sa Accenture ngayon, we're very cognizant of what happened during the pandemic. We're not requiring people to be physically in the office 100% of the time. So for ibang projects, at least once or twice a month. Certain projects may 30%. Pero I think very rare, very, very rare in project na 100% sa office. So in taking note of that, so we've designed a program wherein you could still form, or you could still strengthen the resources sense of team either virtually. Projects are pretty much given liberty to design at least the activities for those. At the same time, giving budget, providing funding for those activities that you want to be done face to face. I happen to be the community's lead for Accenture, and for the past couple of years, we have ceased actively promoting the activities, whether it's a sports club, cooking club, because of the restrictions, right? Just last week, we sent out a note. Yeah, I think we're ready. For the passion clubs, we refer to them. If you want to restart, if you want to sign up, looking forward to see when we're providing funding to those. If I'm not mistaken, there are now like 12 clubs that we are restarting. I believe football. I know the cooking. I know there's biking. There's Carla. There's a K-pop community.
I heard there's also an entrepreneurial
yes,
club.
because I went through the list the last week, so I'm very much familiar about in K-pop. My wife's a big fan. She made me watch Hometown Cha Cha Cha. Actually, when I say she made me watch, what I really meant was I wanted to watch that as well. So not as a big fan, I guess, as Carla, but I'm down with those movies. And I saw Woo Young Woo, Extraordinary Attorney Woo. So
that's super nice. Ang daming initiatives ng Accenture.
Yeah. So
to share your own sentiments then as well.
So yeah, we're big on those as well. Right now it's just a little bit different, right? The dynamic because of we're still in the pandemic, but yeah, we're putting our weight into those activities.
Okay, thank you. So Miss Carla, would you like to add anything else?
Maybe on the culture side of it, I guess, the people here are well actually educated to, know how to sort of respond if someone is in distress or someone is in help. Actually, when you do enter Accenture, there are some preparation measures that you can read about here when you're working. How do I sort of cope with the mental stress? And there are a lot of reminders, a lot of what Sir Carlos said, initiatives for that. And then going back to being culture-wise, people here don't judge really for what you're going through. And that's kind of it, actually. Sir Carlo was able to explain everything here for Accenture. And if you're asking about maybe like the benefits, I think you can just point your questions to HR maybe. So they can really like lay out the specifics for that actually.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that ends our Q&A session for today. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Aquino and Ms. Dioso, for the very insightful session about Accenture. For
Thank
those
you.
interested, you can check out the link in the chat regarding internships at Accenture.
Yeah.
So now that our event is coming to a close, we would like to show our appreciation to our dear speakers by presenting to them these certificates of appreciation and tokens of gratitude. We'll be starting with Mr. Aquino, followed by Ms. Dioso. So the UP CAPES Assistance Program for Engineering Students presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Carlo Aquino in grateful acknowledgement of the valuable insights and knowledge they have imparted as guest speaker during the CAPES Week 2022 Co-Presenter Talk. Mr. Aquino will now be having a quick photo op with your picture. Smile for the
Ay,
camera.
picture.
Yes, po,
Okay, I'll be taking the picture now. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My pleasure. And I hope a lot of people will sign up.
Okay, likewise, the UP CAPES UP Career Assistance Program for Engineering Students presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Andrea Carlo Dioso in grateful acknowledgement of the valuable insights and knowledge they have imparted as guest speaker during CAPES Week 2022 Co-Presenter Talk. Ms. Dioso now will having a quick photo op again. So smile.
Okay, I'll just smile.
3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Okay. So once again, thank you to our speakers for giving us your time to be here and for imparting your knowledge to the engineering community. I'm sure our participants have learned greatly from you today, and of course, they'll keep Accenture in mind in the future.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sale kayo AALP ha. Hope to see you guys here.
Okay. So, before we end our program, we would like to announce the winners of our raffle for our co-presenter talk with Accenture. Ito na. So, if your name is called, please unmute yourself and confirm your presence. However, if the chosen winner is not in the call any longer, we will be picking another winner. So, are you guys excited? Okay, because I am. So, well, we won't keep you waiting any longer. Our first raffle winner is none other than Athea Claire Batugal.
Hello po.
Here.
Present.
All right. Thank you for confirming and congratulations, Thea. Okay, so for our next speaker, for our next winner, we have Blue Andre James Elman. Is Blue still here? Is he still around? Okay. Okay, I think we got a chat from Blue. All right. Thank you for confirming your presence and congratulations for winning the raffle. Congratulations. So, for our winners tonight, please await a message from our team for further details. And once again, congratulations. If you didn't take home the raffle for a co-presenter talk, that's more than okay. Our social media challenges are also still open. So go ahead and join the logo hunt and the Instagram story challenges to get more raffle entries for our grand raffle. All the information regarding these challenges are up on the UP CAPES Facebook page. Finally, don't forget to visit our virtual exhibit through bit.ly/CAPES virtual exhibit to know more about what UP CAPES and our co-presenter Accenture has in store for you. Answer the quiz at the end of the exhibit and share the exhibit in your IG stories to once again gain an additional entry to our grand raffle. These challenges end tonight, okay, at 11:59 p.m. Okay, it's giving academic deadline. Okay, so don't miss your chance to win amazing prizes from our grand raffle and to gain points for our Cape Smiles as well. New prizes. I love this. Okay, so let us now proceed with a quick photo op with everyone. Kindly open your cameras if you can, and we'll give you a minute to prepare.
Magkaka-face-to-face ano na ba? You know, this would be so fun if it were in the engineering theater. Diba? Hope to see you guys again. Humiyaw naman engineering dyan. Uy, joke lang. Unmute naman kayo.
Mas gusto ko yung background no una ni Althea nung Shopee 99 na si Jose Marichan. Mas mas okay yun eh. Yun, there you go. I should get that.
Hello, naka-on na ba lahat ng camera? Will more people be turning on? I will be taking the screenshot now or soon. Okay, I will be taking that. There are 4 pages. Okay, so just keep smiling na lang. This is page 1. Wait, no, ako sa camera. Wait. 1, 2, 3. There. This is page 2. 1, 2, 3. And this is page 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And last page, page 4. 1, 2, 3. Ayan. There we go.
Okay, and that officially ends our co-presenter talk with Accenture. We will be sending an evaluation form through your email so that everyone can answer it and we can further improve our events. We'll be giving away 100 pesos through GCash to 2 lucky evaluation form respondents, and winners will be announced on October 15, 2022. So you can check out the chat for the link of the evaluation form. Now it's also on the screen. So 100 pesos through GCash. Okay. Simple survey lang yan, guys, to let us know how the event was today. So once again, we would like to remind you to participate in our social media challenges and our virtual exhibit quiz that are up on the UP Capes Facebook page. I hope you took a photo kanina habang nagpipicture. You can take a picture ngayon. Sure. Okay. Okay, so we hope our co-presenter talk has helped you understand more about early career planning, and we can't wait to see you build your bases and level up with us through our next events. And speaking of UPKF's next event, this November we are bringing you Career Series. To know more about the event and to let us know of your preferences, please answer the Career Series interest check. Go to tinyurl.com/CSMR2022, where you also have the chance to win up to 1,000 pesos. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's one winner of 1,000. If hindi kayo palarin, you can win 500. Pero hindi pa rin kayo palarin, you can still win 100 pesos. So that's a lot of like prize ranking for. So let them know I sent you to the Career Series interest check by typing in Lazam Jessica sa referral section ng survey. So once again, I am Jessica Lazam. Thank you so much for participating in today's talk and for joining us in celebration of CAPES Week 2022. Stay safe and you may now drop the call. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you po.
Recording stopped.